Hey, this is your girl Nabuguzi Kiwanuka, and this is your favorite show, Hashtag with Nabuguzi Kiwanuka, a forum where you and I have conversations on unraveling social constructs, discuss self-development in line with mental health, and a lot more about the millennial world around us. If you're not hearing my voice for the first time, welcome back to today's episode. And to you who is hearing my voice for the first time, I welcome you to this podcast. This is part 2 of the conversation on a perspective on independence. It's a continuation of part 1. So if you've not listened to part 1, for you to really understand what part 2 is about, you need to first go back to part 1 and continue with this particular episode. Listen in.
Like I said previously, English is not a measure of success, it's not a measure of intelligence. It's not a measure of your good, because what really now I feel I should go bare knuckles. I'm really sorry, but I have to, sometimes you have to dab hydrogen peroxide or iodine on a wound to heal.
You're cleaning it.
It baffles me that the parents who are so engrossed in wanting their kids to speak English, wanting their kids to not speak any local language, they want their kids to speak any local language, are the exact parents who are teaching their children English with the worst accent. Because our kids are learning English from us. We are the primary teachers of English. So I would rather teach my child Uganda that I know and I'm fluent at, and leave English teaching to the experts. So if I'm at a place, I would rather have my child speak to me in Luganda, Mami njagala kyakunywa, in proper Luganda, than my child coming to me in public shouting, Mommy, I don't even know how kids English. I don't know how kids English is, but it's rare like that.
But
I'd act like, no,
you are not my child.
I don't know you. Why are you speaking like this? Why? Because even the whites that we are trying to copy, even when their children speak the baby babble language, they'll still speak the English words the way they're supposed to be in that language. But if ours are speaking their English the way they hear it from home,
we shouldn't try so much, really. I feel like we're working so hard on erasing our existence. You see cousins, maybe, or friends, like, have you heard that kid speak? When will my kids speak like that?
But the issue is, I would want people to say, have you heard that kids speak? When my child is speaking proper English, taught by a proper English teacher, but they can also speak their language. I have no problem with my child speaking good English. Absolutely, I would love it. I would love for them to pronounce words in a nice way, but I would also want them to pronounce words in their local language the right way. I do not want to have a Nanyonga who cannot speak a single Uganda word. Trust me, even the whites will laugh at us. It's honest.
We don't have a story for us. We don't have history even.
Who are you? Then you say, my name is Nanyonga Insignia. Good. Where are you from? I'm from Uganda. You have a tribe? Yes, I'm a Muganda.
What's your heritage like?
Can you? How do you say I want food in Luganda? I didn't grow up in Uganda. So your parents are Baganda? Yes. Do they know how to speak it? Yes. Why can't you speak it? You see school. What manner of madness is that? If I was like a white guy probably trying to date an African girl, I would slap the nothingness out of you, because I would wonder what kind of person I'm taking home. A person. We understand if you're living abroad, because maybe rarely will your child hear your language, but throw it in there once in a while. Throw it in there. I mean, look for documentaries on your culture, on what, and watch them with your child. Don't force them, but be engaged. Act genuinely Be genuinely interested along with them and tell them, you see, we live here in the United States of America, but this is who we are.
Yeah.
This is where we come from.
I feel like Nigerians do that.
A lot. Actually, and they're so proud of their pidgin English.
Yeah. Those guys.
They're so proud of their pidgin English.
Those guys.
Make you know sabi, me tell you. They are so proud of it. They put it in their movies and we will watch them and we will understand by force.
BBC ended up creating BBC Pidgin.
Can you imagine? So, what I'm saying is we need to get our kids to that kind of, not just our kids, but the whole,
even us as adults. I mean, because you see, I don't know if I've been at a space whereby I text you in Uganda.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's once when I texted, I'm Uganda. And she said, stop texting me in that language. I was like, are you listening to yourself?
No, my biggest concern is, why are you as a parent giving your child a nan name or an okelo or a chomugisha, but you do not want them to speak that language? Change it all together to Johnson or Smith, because you're the reason that these children are growing up
completely lost.
Because they're completely lost, they don't know who they are. Their self-esteem is diminished. They start to bleach. They start to use body enhancements. They want to look like a Nicki Minaj or a Cardi B. They start to go into depression. Because they don't even know who they are. They don't even know what they are doing with themselves.
It happens when you lose your identity.
So I'm wondering why you're raising a breed of human robots. They literally have no roots. They're like a creation of society, a figment of what you think is right in your mind. You're actually a murderer.
Yeah.
You have killed this child before they even grow up because they've lost themselves. But they don't even lose themselves. They don't even know what they are in the first place. So you're a murderer. You as a parent, you as an adult in society who has kids looking up to you, you have murdered them by robbing them of their identity and killing who they fundamentally are as a person.
Yeah. So
for me, this independence opens my eyes to realize that it is good to speak English. It is good to know English. It is good.
Because we're actually global. Good. We're global and we have to communicate with the other countries.
But at what point are we uplifting our languages to a point that a white will say, let me learn Luganda to transact? Because even when they go to the market, they'll speak English. That is, kujoga kwenyini. They will come to Uganda, go to the market and speak English and get away with it.
Yeah.
But if you go to China, if you go to Japan,
you need to learn the language.
If you go to France,
you need to learn the language.
You will have to navigate your way by learning the language. At least people live, people are at the airport with self-help books trying to learn a few words and try to construct sentences.
Yeah.
But at what point do African languages get to that level where we are globally accepted?
Yeah.
Because even what we are doing in the English language is not helping us. We can say maybe we're having formal education in the English language, but what has formal education done for the average Ugandan? Can you produce a robot at age 12?
Barely.
Can you write a book at age 6?
It's just a few kids that are actually privileged.
And not even privileged. Their parents are just open-minded enough to realize that growth comes with exposure.
Yeah.
So, this independence, I really hope, I really don't have the right words and I don't want to go really savage on, but this independence I would really love for parents, guardians, people in our age bracket who are raising children or who are near children, to encourage them, to groom them, to build their personalities centered on who they are as individuals, to be proud of being Ugandan. Not just another day of hashtags and a trending flag on the internet and
I have a feeling
we're making our aesthetics look beautiful on Instagram. No, it should be inherently part of us and we should be genuinely proud to be Ugandan.
Yeah.
We should be proud of our roots, proud of our heritage. Basically, I want a white man somewhere to look and be like, guys,
this is happening, whereby they don't.
That is it.
Whereby they don't necessarily have to run to the Masiro to really be exposed to the Buganda culture. Yes, the museums do exist for that purpose, but
I've not been to the Masiro by them. Never.
Okay, I went there when I was in P2.
School trip. I was sick.
I went there when I was in P2. We also had a trip there, and that was it. But I don't know. Do I have to go back?
No, you don't. No, you don't. Because you know what happens.
But
there.
I'm really pushed for about a year or two. I've been feeling the nudge. I wanted to go to the library. I wanted to know what's happening. But then I also have mixed thoughts. I wonder, it keeps me questioning the kind of content I'll find. Is it the original content, or is it content engineered by the colonialists? Because that is also another perspective. I mean, we're in a space whereby people still doubt that Mwanga killed those guys. That matters.
Yeah, there are too many theories.
There are people saying that the Buganda culture does not ban people.
Wow.
Yeah. But no one in Uganda is coming out to speak on that.
Why should they?
Exactly.
No, because why should they? They have more pressing issues like we want federal government.
Yeah.
We want to be like we want to be separated from Uganda and have our own affairs. There are land squabbles everywhere. There are also corrupt officials trying to grab people's land. Like, I mean, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
That they would feel there's no need to open up Pandora's box. Because, first of all, if you open up such an argument,
it's a can of worms. It's a can of worms.
It may not end until 2045.
But we have to be undoing these things. I mean, people are really fighting to have their leaders' body parts brought back, or the artifacts that were stolen by, those colonialists. And if we really want to talk about independence, it really disturbs me. It really disturbs me. I mean, if we're coming from Buganda's independence, yeah, we're not even independent.
Yeah, we're not. Usually as Buganda. I would love to celebrate it. It's just really ceremonial, because being in Buganda, you'd have to be happy when you reach certain milestones. But what have been done in those milestones? If we still have a kingdom where
there have to be silence about some things because they don't want to agitate the central government or things like that, that is not independence.
But let's even just go a bit personal.
Yeah.
If we have a kingdom where the children, the first children of the kingdom, cannot even study in Uganda, or probably cannot speak Luganda, I really don't get it. And I'm marrying people that are not Baganda. I'm not being tribalistic, but
I know where you're headed with that.
But seriously, the only way that, like, let me give you an example.
Yeah.
You know why you'll not find Muslim preachers on the street? It's because they multiply by family.
Yeah.
A Muslim man will marry a Muslim woman, or marry a woman and convert her into Islam, marry 3 others, so there will be 4. If each of those 4 has 4 children, those are 16 new Muslims.
Oh, I hadn't thought about it in that sense.
So you will never find Muslim preachers on the street. Their numbers are multiplied at home. Their numbers are multiplied at home.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking, wow, we're going to make Buganda great again, nope, no issue. But
where do we start from? If
we're having the first children, because we cannot go bare knuckles on other Baganda. If the first children themselves are not, we're having children of high officials in Mengo marrying non-Baganda.
Yeah.
It's even worse if it's a girl marrying a guy who's a non-Buganda. It means she has been taken over to whichever other tribe that is.
Yeah.
At what point are we having Baganda children? Because if these two fail to agree on a common language, if maybe the guy says, nah, my pride cannot let me speak Luganda, maybe I'm Munyoro, the children are either going to speak Runyoro, or if the woman also puts her guns down and says, I will not speak Runyoro, then the kids will speak English.
Ah, dear.
On that note,
it's exhausting thinking about it.
Without being tribalistic, I will urge my children, therefore, to marry people of their same tribe and culture.
Mm-hmm.
It, you know,
It keeps the society compact.
there's
It's a
a
little bit hard.
cohesion that
Now,
is.
yeah, we all spread. We all spread. And when you talk about
People are going to really hate me after this podcast. You've really succeeded in making people unsubscribe from my channel.
They won't. Actually, people. I feel like people love, natural people. So when you talk about you've gone to the kingdom and then the first children, I also like to think about these guys who work for the Buganda, should I call them institutes?
Mm-hmm.
Like you sit and listen to radio. You sit and watch TV, BBS Telefina, Eyafe, CBS Emanduso, or CBS Radio Yobujaja. Because I listen to CBS Emanduso. But then you're seated there and you're hearing someone saying, Bakwano Bafe. Hey, this is someone who is fit to be in your parents' shoes.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're talking about things related to the kingdom, that when you're getting your employees, are they speaking right to your
Audience.
listeners? Yes, to your audience. Are they speaking right?
Because the time someone
Do
will
people
tune
pick
into
something?
CBS, they know that this is a kingdom radio, so I'm
Yeah.
expecting to hear Luganda and properly spoken Luganda.
And yesterday when we were speaking, you raised the thing of Mataka. It's like,
I've had it even with these men that they bring to speak on functions like traditional weddings and stuff, and they have all the wrong Luganda, and I'm saying, okay, wait, hold up. This is your job. You're supposed to invest every single ounce of energy, time, money in doing your job well, but you can't even speak proper Luganda on a Luganda function. Are you okay?
what do you have for our listeners? What can you leave? What's your token of advice for our listeners on independence, Buganda and Uganda, and personal self, the people themselves? Because I think at some point I got to a space whereby I feel like I think people need to now look at their own independence. Forget the country, because now there's a government running it. You're not really going to fight it. There's Buganda being messed up. They have their mafias they keep talking about now. So who are you as a person independently? You could,
independence for me as an individual opens my eyes to realizing that as a person you need to come to a place of growing up and realization.
Yeah.
And that point of realization is one where you ought to do as your spirit as your spirit leads you to, as your conscience leads you to. Many of us have found ourselves in situations because of our families, because of our friends, because of society.
Yeah.
You can't really afford Kampala parents, but you're taking your child there because you don't want your workmates to say, but you're broke. Why are you taking your kids there? You want to pretend you have the money, so because you want to fit in.
Yes.
Probably feel like your calling is to help people, maybe help them with their mental issues. But because you studied engineering and you want everyone to address you on wedding cards as engineer Gundi, no mommy way, you will say no, I have to remain an engineer.
Yeah.
We have to come to a point of realization, self-realization, if we're going to be truly independent on our own. There's something that God has called each of us to do, and He puts it in our hearts. There's like a burning fire.
Yeah.
And like, allow me to chip in the Bible somewhere, but like the Bible says, the men with the talent and how the master expected them to use their talents. It would be a shame for you one day to go to heaven and you have tried to do everything you thought you would do, and then God says, nah,
you actually didn't.
Nothing. You've done nothing.
Or
this is what I sent you to do, but
just busy fitting in.
So it's great that as we become independent, as these days pass by of independence and stuff like that, we sit down and do a self-actualization. Like do an overhaul. Find out the things in your life that you're actually called to do.
Yeah.
Things that you feel you can do without being pressured, without being pushed. Do them to the best of your ability. Fulfill your true calling. To our kingdom us as the Buganda on the lower caste of the pyramid, we can only do as much. We can only keep hoping that our children can speak proper Luganda, know their customs, dress like their customs, actually do what they're expected of as Baganda children. But we also hope that our kingdom plays a part. Let them play a part in their personal lives, in their very homes.
Yeah.
We get discouraged when we hear
Our leaders are actually doing the opposite.
our leaders are, they'll say, we're going to Soso as a Buganda, we're going to, and then their kids are marrying from other.
You're really on to the marriage.
No, I'm trying to, because family is the cell of society.
Yes.
It is what holds everything together.
It's the
In fact,
first
everything
stage of
starts from here.
society. Yeah.
If you see maybe a girl just bad on the street, she'll be like, no, your mama we yani. That's the first thing that will come to your head. Yes.
Yeah.
What kind of home is she from? So when I come to talk about, our leaders, I have to scrutinize their families without a doubt. They're public officials, so their families come into scrutiny.
Yeah.
So if your families are doing the exact opposite, but then you're telling us to build Buganda, how? We can only do as much. But then to our central government, we are glad that we can count years. We say 58, we feel good. Oh, a whole 50 years. By the way, it's half of a full life. Half of a full life, which
More
could
than
be
half.
100. Yeah, actually more than half of a full life. So, what have we done? Are we evaluating? Are we looking back and realizing, okay, these were the mistakes that were made here, there?
Is there
How
a point
are we
where
going to redeem them?
Yeah.
How are we changing our education system to fit that of an African child? Because you're not going to teach your children Canadian prairies when they'll probably die without a passport, with no hope ever of visiting the Tennessee Valley Authority. But there are lots of things that I will never pronounce that word ever in my life. So I forgive myself with pronouncing Massachusetts. It will forever be Boston. Yeah, Boston MA. But okay. Seriously, they need to get to a point where our education system is tailored to fit the African child. If the African child needs to be taught in their language for them to understand, well and good. Because when you understand something being taught to you in a language, you can best explain it. Maybe that is why the children get poor grades. They don't understand the English in which these things are being taught. But if they understood something from their language, then we're translating it to English, maybe it would be so much better for them.
I was actually told that back then the education kids had to be taught first in their language, and then later on, possibly, I don't know at what age, then that's when they start English.
But that for me, I see as a role of parents. If you're raising your kids at home, English will roll off somehow, somewhere. Of course, we will speak English somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
But it is important that you also let you be the first teacher of language. What I like to usually do, and I learned it from Manuela Mulondo. She was saying something sometime and said, in her book, Stop, Listen to Your Child thing, she was explaining something and said, when you're raising a child, before they learn how to speak, the way that you can stimulate their brain is to tell them something while showing them an action.
Okay.
Like sit and make them sit. So they know that when you say sit, it means this. Now, what I incorporated was to say something twice in English and in Luganda. Nice. I will tell you sit, but repeat and say Tura wansi. Then I will put you down.
In case you don't get down.
Yeah, when this is said and this is said, it means the same thing.
Yeah.
And it translates to this particular action. So you will find a child, because these children's brains are like sponges.
Yeah.
They are ready to receive.
Absorb
and,
everything.
Oh my God, they are so intelligent. By the way, our kids are more intelligent than we would ever think.
Because they're at a point of learning, so whatever they say, they just absorb.
Even you as an adult, do you know if you sat down and put your mind to learning Spanish, you would?
I would, but it doesn't come so easy as a child
But if you put your mind to it, and you hang around people speaking,
it also comes with interest in languages.
Exactly. But remember, as a child, they don't have a choice.
Right.
pinch me. You don't have a choice in my house.
Right.
So I will speak to you in languages that I want you to learn, and you will learn them.
You spoke about language, and I wanted to bring in, Ginny Mai?
Yes. Oh, that very cute, as if half Asian, or as if half what? She's really pretty.
She had brought her mom. She has a show that she sits with her mom, and she talked about how her mom made sure that they speak. What is their language? Where do they come from? I've forgotten where they come from. They moved to America. She was still a kid, and if she went to the mom and said, "I want milk," the mother would act like she's not had. It's until she had to speak her own language, and then the mother responds. So
let me chip this in just before. I know you're about to tell me 1 minute. We're going to close. Okay, let me chip this in. Yeah. I watched a show on NTV, Mwasuzemutia, and Farida was interviewing a lady called Nana Kaga. She's an actress.
I know her.
This babe has one of the most endearing English accents that I've had. Her command of the English language is spectacular.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she is amazing. But she was saying, growing up, she's a Mumbeja, I think. She's of the royal clan in Buganda. So growing up, the minute you entered the gate, English would be left outside to be collected tomorrow when you're going to school.
Wow.
They would have to speak in Luganda if you spoke in English.
Oh, yeah.
But guess what? She has a very good command of the English language. So some people think that when your child speaks Luganda, they will not speak English. They'll speak it badly. They'll speak it poorly. Excuse me, but I don't think the reason why your kids are speaking bad English is because they're not speaking their local languages. No. It is because you are speaking bad English.
And they don't
You're
even
their
know
parent,
their
and
own
they
language.
hear from you. So, please, dear parents, dear guardians, dear people that live with our children, normalize teaching your children their identity,
heritage,
their language,
their
culture.
Yeah.
Let your child come up and say, "I am a Muganda," and she can squeeze matoke. It doesn't take anything away from them. They'll have their PhDs. They'll have as many, education. They'll have a fulfilled education so that they can even be the vice president of America. But nothing will, knowing their language, knowing their heritage, knowing where they come from, knowing how to do the things that are supposed to be done in their culture, will not take anything away from them.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Joy, for thank you so much for being with us. If people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
My Facebook page is Joy Kezia Musisi. My Instagram page is at JK_Musisi. And my YouTube channel is Live, Laugh, Love without a space, then space with JK, without a space in between the with JK. So Live, Laugh, Love with JK.
That's all?
Oh, my Twitter is really inactive, but it's at Joy Musisi.
Oh dear, I didn't imagine you have a Twitter account. I've never heard you talk about it.
It's just to stalk people.
I just learned how to use Twitter this year during lockdown.
Same. I still don't know how to navigate the terms of tweeting and retweeting.
I'm learning how to. You have come to the end of part 2 of A Perspective on Independence. A special shout out goes to you, our lovely guest, Joy Kezia Musisi. I am very thankful for the time you've shared with us, your mind that oozes with so much knowledge. We appreciate you. To you, dear listener, what is independence to you? What do you understand from independence? We were celebrating independence. We had a long weekend last month. Yeah, we had a long weekend. But what does it really mean to you? Besides the long weekend, I only got the long weekend, honestly. Oh, and I got to do some recordings, yeah. But what does it really mean to you as a person? What does independence mean to you? When you think about Uganda, what does it mean to you? Share with us your thoughts. Continue the conversation with sharing your feedback. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button on whatever platform that you're using to listen in, so that you don't miss out on any episode. And also make sure to follow the show on Facebook and Instagram. It's all at hashtag with Nabuguzi Kiwanuka. And on Twitter, it is at HTNK Podcast. HTNK is in caps lock and podcast is in small letters. Ciao. See you in the next episode.